It's taking its time. Welcome back to Loan Officer Success Live. And this is the Coach's Corner powered by Premier Lending. Your host, mortgage leader and business builder, Devin Dubuque, and the coach with the winning playbook, Rick Koenig. Together, they're bringing you real strategies, no fluff insights, and the exact steps to grow your mortgage business. Buckle up because this is Loan Officer Success Live. Buckle up, baby, because we are back. What's going on, Coach?
Oh, man, getting ready for a good show and getting ready for about 13 to 15 inches of snow up here in Cincinnati over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, we're live right now, guys, and I think if you're in the United States, you know we're about to get a wicked cold front that's just going to whip through and affect almost everybody. And those of you in the north, man, I don't envy. I don't envy what you're about to go through, you know?
It is what it is. You know, our weather, our seasons change monthly. We don't change, and sometimes weekly. We don't change 4 times a year.
Yeah, I get it. You know, I wish that we saw a little bit more season change here in Texas, though. I'm down in Texas. I'm from Kansas kid, you know that. And I come from where, you know, we have, you know, seasons. And here, Texas, we have 2. It's winter and summer. Yeah. And, you know, fall for us just means you woke up that day and the leaves fell off the tree all at once, right? They never change colors. They're just gone. Like, that's it. That's
well, you know, the change of seasons is kind of like your business. It gives you a motivation on a quarterly basis to try to up your game. So what are we talking about for upping our game today?
Well, we're talking about mindset, right? And, you know, the mindset that's going to put you in front of your competition in the industry, right? And this is something you know very well. You're coach, you know, and it's something that you know I've learned even more so over the last 3 to 4 years. I think you know we date this back to you know COVID, and you know we stopped kind of talking about that, but you know the market had its insane shifts, and then everybody you know saw the market shift overnight, and we were kind of left you know swimming naked. It was like, oh wow, like my business isn't what I thought it was.
Yeah,
and some of us had to really reinvent the way we do things. Some of us got the heck out, said, hey, we're leaving. But those of us that said, hey, we're going to reinvent ourselves and led with an abundance mindset and understood that, you know, we need to level up. We need to consistently be leveling up and changing, right? Those are the ones that are still here. And those are the ones that some of them are just doing some really insane things, right? And when we get the pleasure of talking to top tier professionals every single day, and some of these folks are doing 100 million plus a year in volume in a market that some would say is a down market. And actually, it is a down market. I saw a statistic recently, Coach, that we did, man, I got to go pull it here in a minute, but the volume that we did overall, not volume units, in comparison was like back to like 90s, like the 90s, like the lowest amount of units done since the 90s. I'm going to go pull it real quick and I'm going to let you kick in. So,
you know, with what's kind of interesting is I was looking at numbers even back in 21 and people were talking about what an incredible year it was. I go back to like 93 and 96, 98. We had refinance booms every like 2 years. And the market, when you say normal market, it was typically a little roller coaster every 18 months. It went up and then it came down and then you got your refis. And people keep talking about being in a normal market. And, you know, I hate to tell you, for the last 4 years or 3 years going into our 4th, this is the new normal. So what are you going to do, you know, to change it? You can't keep thinking that, you know, hey, things are going to get back to normal when normal has been what we've been doing. Yeah. And the people that have gone out utilizing, like you said, the abundant mindset, being in the proper frame of mind when they go out, they grew their businesses the last couple of years. Now we have 75% less of the people that were in the business in 21 in the business now, but we've also had an influx of new people coming into the business. And you and I have talked before, and maybe on this show, that I have seen about the most successful people I've seen, other than just the absolute, you know, monsters in the industry that never dropped.
Yeah, right.
The people that have less than 8 years experience, no matter their age, I don't care if they're in their 60s or in their 20s, they are absolutely just doing a fantastic job And they are taking the tools that are available nowadays. They're taking the coaching that's available. And I am gonna. I almost cried the other day. I got a phone call. It was a Massachusetts number. Didn't recognize it. I didn't have it saved in my book. And the woman on the other end says, "Hey, Coach Rick, do you remember me?" And I went, "Oh my gosh, of course I do. I follow you on Instagram. I follow you on Facebook and LinkedIn because you're just such an amazing person."
Yeah.
And this loan officer, at like 24 years old, adopted her 8-year-old niece. And over the last number of years, I've watched this girl grow to where she's like a sophomore in high school. And, mom is only like turning 30 years old. And she called me up to tell me that last year was the first full year she originated up in a tough market up in Massachusetts. And she did, now I'm going to screw the number up, $18 to $23 million.
It's amazing.
And she called me up to say thank you. And I just, my heart melted because this little girl, she's so dynamic and she's so amazing on social media, but she's working hard and I knew it. And the day I met her, she was just somebody's assistant. And you know how I do it at the events. I used to say, "You eating with anybody? Come with us.
Come on with us."
And we walked down the beach and we ate at Frenchie's down in Clearwater.
That's it.
And it was like the coolest thing. But you take somebody like her who took the coaching that she's received and then put it into play. And that abundant mindset we're about to talk about is what comes back. But that abundant mindset is why she picked up the phone and called me. And I literally, I don't know how I didn't cry because at my age, you start crying over dumb stuff, Watch a Hallmark movie and cry.
I was going to go back and talk about the stats real quick because here's some things. Yeah. And honestly, a buddy reached out to me and says, "Is this real or is this myth? Right? Is this real or is this myth?" And I'm like, let's find out. Let's fact check. So here was the question: 2025 home sales at 4.06 million, meaning like total sales, 4.06 million in the United States today. Not volume, units, right? And the answer is yes, that is correct, right? So then the second one, and this is the one that I was questioning, was that tied for the lowest year since 1995? And the answer is yes. That is a confirmation that is the lowest that we've seen since the mid-90s. So, at the end of the day, and then the other one was no surge or bounce in 2025. And that's mostly true. On an annual basis, sales were flat through late year. Monthly sales ticked up and then stuck on low as a broad trend since 2023. And that's supported. Sales have stayed subdued for multiple years in a row. And that's what we're seeing in our industry right now. So how do you fix that, right? Like if you're in a business where the business has decreased, how do you continue to scale up while other people are scaling down? And I think the answer to that is scaling up. And that's scaling up your education, your understanding, and just making yourself a better version of yourself. When we talk about an abundance mindset, and I think part of that's also sharing what you're learning with others, right? Because we see this time and time again where people learn something and then they go out and they share it with others. It's some people don't have that mindset. Some people are like, "I'm keeping this for myself. It's all for me," right? But the ones with the abundant mindset go out and they share it, and not just with their business partners like their real estate agents, but their peers as well. They share it with everybody. They're like, "Hey, you need to know this. This is a great way to level up your game." And that's what really moves the needle. In fact, when you're sharing the new things, the knowledge that you're learning with your agents, they look at you as a real partner. "Oh, Rick cares about me. He wants to see me get more successful because he's sharing these really cool tools with me." So, Rick, where do we scale up? How are ways that we can actually scale up and, master our craft and get better and be able to provide more value to the people that need it?
Well, first, you have to have an open mind, no matter your experience level in the industry. And, we've got 3 or 4 people with abundant mindsets just at this company where, we have Scott Hudspeth on MLO Live every morning. What has he created in the last 2 weeks? He taught me that in 2 hours, I created my own website. I did upgrade a little bit. I spent $25.
Woo.
And
Big
you know me,
spender.
I'm a tight ass.
Big spender.
I created a website that you guys all fell in love with, and it was so easy. And I didn't create anything. With the AI and the tools that are available, we created a website with actually, you showed that on the show.
I did. I did a presentation on it. Yeah. And then everybody was working on theirs.
And it really, and you built one for somebody else in 20 minutes, abundant mindset. We shared that with the industry.
I built 5 for other people. I haven't even done mine yet. I've built 5 for other people. None for me.
I can only imagine. They should have done it themselves, though, because that's what I did. And you know me, I'm the guy that says, "Oh, I'll wait for somebody else to do it for me because I'm too old." You know, I pull out the old card. But Scotty and you and John Hinks with Cageless, where we're going to be going to cities across the country, 2 a month. Usually one day after the other, doing a free 3-hour coaching session.
Yeah.
And people are, our callers are calling we targeted people doing 2 or 3 loans a month. We want to help them grow. Yeah. And we want to teach them how to become cageless, how to break out of that cage and grow your business, because people are doing it in this business. So the abundant mindset is, if you're going to, an LOS Live or a Cageless or whatever event you're going to, and you're learning stuff.
Or LOS Live.
Yeah, LOS Live. I forgot to mention us. Take that stuff that you're learning and let's take it to your realtor partners. Don't be afraid to share it with your loan officer friends, even if they don't work for you. When we rise, with the rising tides lift all boats, why not lift them up? Because if you and 2 of your buddies that are out there are 3 of the best loan officers in town, guess what? It's just going to take business away from the ones that aren't being out there and sharing. And so the stuff that we've learned just in the last 2 weeks and a couple coaching sessions we've all been in, were, 1, show people how to build their own website. Now, of course, these websites need to go through the compliance department. Yeah. But the way this AI is so good, you can take all your compliance information off your current site, build it into your website, send it to your compliance guys, and they're going to go, "Wow, this is amazing."
I already did that. They blew their mind. They're like, "Wait, you did what? How did this happen?"
Yep.
And it already had most of the compliance stuff there because I told it to make it compliant to meet mortgage regulations. I provided all the NMLS data, and it literally did it all for me. So, at the end of the day, what are we talking about? What tool is this, right? Well, we're leading with an abundance mindset, coach. So let's talk about what tool it is, right? And the tool that we're talking about is lovable.dev. Lovable.dev. And if you're not familiar with this one, you need to get familiar, because lovable.dev will allow for you to build custom websites, custom calculators. Scott's got something he's going to do on the MLI show next week that he built that a lot of us pay for the service already. We already have it. And he built it to do it and build it to where it'll do it for others, right? So this is the website. I'm going to pop it up on screen real quick. This is lovable.dev. It's called lovable.dev. And this is a place.
And that's not for Devin Dubuque. That's
maybe it is. Maybe I built this. And, secretly I'm getting rich and you guys just don't know it. No, I'm not. It's not mine. I wish that I could say that I built this out, but I'm building some really cool mortgage tech using this website. And if you're listening and you're going, not me, I can't do it. I don't know how to code. I've never coded a day in my life. All I know how to do is talk. I'm really good at that, right? And so all I have to do is talk to the AI, and it just builds whatever I tell it to. It's ChatGPT on steroids. And instead of it just giving you advice or, telling you how to link to different things, it literally builds whatever you tell it for you. Real time, live. It's unbelievable. And the initial login is free for 25 credits, which will build you a website. But if you really want to get fancy, as Coach said, he spent $25 and built a full-blown website on it. Now, I'm developing some technology in the background that, we won't talk about on the show today, but an entire back-end system with the CRM and tracking. It's unbelievable. And I'm doing it all through AI. So check this out. Another thing, leading with an abundance mindset and talking about leveling up your skills and doing things that other originators may or may not be doing are events. You can go to events. You talked about Cageless. You talked about the morning show, right? That we're on Monday through Friday, and we're there too, right? So it's me, it's you, it's Scott, it's John Hinks, and we're sharing things, and then we're bringing on top producers from the industry. and mortgage tech innovators literally every single week that are sharing the tools that are out there to help you scale up your game. Okay. But the one I want to share with you guys, and Coach, you'll love this because we're going to be there here in a couple of weeks live in person, is MortgageCon, right?
2026.
20 I'm a year off. Let me fix that real quick.
Yeah, MortgageCon 2026. I mean, we've got Rene Rodriguez. I mean, is that like a legend of a name of a coach and speaker? And we got Neil. How do you say Neil's last name properly?
Yeah, Neil Dingra is going to be there.
From
he's one of my coaches and mentors
from Forward Academy. My coach Jamie Miller is going to be there.
Jamie's there, man.
Talking about how to talk about things. Well, we turned around and utilized stuff that I learned on Thursday last week. Tuesday of this week? We already turned around and used it with our callers that are making calls for the Cageless event up in the northern North Carolina area, up in Raleigh and Greenville. And we're seeing some great success just from coaching that I got the other day. Yeah. And that's stuff that, like in that Cageless event, we will share stuff like this. Are you making a call? What can you say when everybody else is saying something? And one of the coolest things he said, is, hey, Devin, we haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet. How motivated would you be to grow your business by about 50% this year? How many people are going to say no? I'm not.
I'll pass.
I'm not. Maybe the first question is, well, who are you? Well, hey, I'm Coach Rick Koenig. I'm part of this group called Cageless, and we're inviting loan officers that are producing at the level you are and trying to show them a way that they can double their business. Would you be interested? It's a free show. It's 3 hours, and we'll train you. You'll have access to the website, blah, blah, blah. And they say, well, why are you doing it? Hey, we're trying to build a community of loan officers that work together to get ourselves better. And of course, they do have an event a couple times a year that you can pay to go to, but that's not it. If you decide to do something like that, or you decide to do some coaching, you want to pay for it, that's great. But this particular event is free. Yeah. And so we're going to be in the Carolinas in February. I think we're going to be over in Tennessee in April. We're going to be down in South Carolina, down around Charleston, in April. In May, I forget where we're going. So I got to look at the calendar, and
the reason we're moving these events around isn't so you have to spend your hard-earned cash to follow us. The reason we're moving around is so that you can find one in your backyard and come and do it. And I know John and I have talked about putting some on here in the DFW as well.
Oh, we'll be there in the fall.
Yeah. And then, I definitely plan to, come out to some of the East Coast events as well, so that, you get a chance to meet with all of us live and pick our brains and learn what we're teaching and training people to scale up their businesses. And a lot of this stuff is all free. That's the best part about it, is that, we're here to contribute back to the industry and share with an industry that's given us so much, and it's just, I think this is what leading with an abundance mindset, is all about, is, hey, we've got great knowledge. Let's help others. Let's scale together. Let's win together, and let's become the best versions of ourselves that we can be. And if we unite, we can spread a lot of hope and joy and confidence back into people, and let people know that you too can be $100 million producer if you just follow the steps, put in the work, and actually take the action.
Yeah, you and I are lucky to know a lot of these people, and we've seen the time, the effort, the work, and yet what a lot of people see when they've reached that level is that they're there, and they don't see the work that it took to get there. You have to work. You have to start with the basics. If you don't have your foundation built, and this is what I'm going to do, and you know what that is, that's doing the meetings, making the calls, introducing yourself to new people, whether it's builders, realtors, divorce attorneys, financial planners. You have to go out to build that referral base. You have to track that business, and you have to follow up on everything. And if you're doing that as your foundation, you can take a one-legged pogo stick and turn it into a four-legged stool. So sometimes even if a fourth leg falls off, you can still stand on it, and maybe it's a five-legged stool. So.
Well, the one thing I want to say, Coach, because I love that you mentioned that, you've got to make sure that you're doing the right things first before you put focus on doing all the new stuff that we're talking about, right? And the way that you do that is you get really good at each thing, and then you add one piece to it to scale up next. And I see this happen all the time where people get confused because they're like, man, I'm learning all these new things. I don't know how to implement them all at once. Don't. Make sure you got the basics done. Make sure that you're doing the thing that's going to move the needle, which is the communication, and making sure that you're following up and staying in touch with your people, right? But then when you know that this next thing that you learned is going to help scale your business to the next level, introduce it at the right time once you've already mastered the other things. And, I can tell you, and you watched me do this, I'm a student of that same type of success, right? So I first started a coaching program a few years back, and I remember showing up on day number 1, and I'm like, I am lost. I'm a mortgage dummy, even though I've got 20 years in the industry. I don't even know what I'm doing, and I don't deserve to be in the room with all these great people that are doing all these amazing things, right? And you and I both know that wasn't true, but that's what was racing through my head. And I literally sat down, imposter syndrome. And I sat down at the front of the class every single event, literally with a notebook and my laptop. And I was writing down the things that were important, the things that needed to be implemented immediately. I was pinging them back to my assistant saying, hey, get this on my calendar, get this ready for me. So that when I get back, it's already ready and set up. I can't say no to it because it's on my calendar and I live by my calendar, right? And I would learn just a little bit. And I would come back to the next one when I was ready, and I'd go, okay, I learned this and this. Now I can hear this. And I would take that, and then I would implement that back into the business. And then I'd go to another event. And what was crazy is that over time, right, this is a period of about 2 years, eventually, instead of sitting in the room feeling intimidated by the other people, they all became my peers. And I actually was standing up on stage and I was presenting about all the things that I'd built for our teams based upon what I learned through that community. And this is what we're talking about.
And think about what you just said, the mindset of going in there and saying, okay, I don't know anything. I need to learn something. I need to implement it. You and I both know that if we had 200 people in a class, there was 20 of them that are going to do what we taught them, and think about that first row. Who was in that first row?
Yeah.
Look at the success of that first row. Just on the right side. You guys always sat on the right. You got Devin, you got David, you got Nate, you got Mara Lee, you got the girl from down in Miami that started her own broker shop. And then on the other side, you had Jason and Aaron, and the two front rows are killers now.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
And yet I don't know any of them that doesn't have that abundant mindset. Do you know anybody besides you and Mara Lee and Nate and even Aaron?
They'll share with each other.
That
and it didn't matter.
Everything and coach their teams while doing their own business too.
Well, what's funny, Coach, is that some of us went on to work together, but even when we weren't working together, we were still sharing ideas with each other. Hey, check this out. We're doing this. You should be doing this too. Hey, dude. In fact, if you remember, Coach, we started the Freedom Force. Yeah, and we were meeting every couple of weeks and just dumping it all out. Man, you got to hear what we're doing. This is working. You should do this too, right?
Yep. And the text messages and the positive feedback back and forth, and it's that abundant mindset. It's just amazing how that group has come together. And what really topped it all for me was I know what you and people like Mara Lee and Nate, I know what you people think about me, and you guys know what I think about you. Well, think about if you're sharing that with your realtors and your employees, they know whether you're for real or whether you're BS.
That's it.
And I walked upstairs and got choked up telling my wife, because my wife follows this young girl too.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't believe it. And it kind of went back to me about the people that you're abundant to are someday going to be talking about you. Yeah. And I'll tell a story out of the mortgage industry. I'm at a football game when my son's in about the 4th grade, and I'm talking to this gentleman, and he works here in Cincinnati at Procter & Gamble. He's an engineer. He's a chemical engineer. And he said, Koenig, your last name. He says, I had a teacher, a botany teacher named Mrs. Koenig at Aiken High School. And I go, that's my aunt. He goes, oh my God, she changed my life. I gave him her phone number. He called her. She cried for a week. She's been retired for 30 years. She's 90 something years old now. And of course, she was probably 70. She's probably my age. She's probably 65 back then when I did it.
Yeah.
And to think that you and I, are going to get calls like that just because we were good people and help people is the coolest thing in the world. And at this point in my career, that's all I'm in it for. If I wasn't, I don't know why I would be doing it, because it's not just the money. It's the satisfaction of, I want everybody to live the lifestyle my family's been able to live, and enjoy this industry. And so if you're abundant with your time, you're sharing with your realtors, your partners, your spouse, your brothers, your sisters, that abundant lifestyle and mindset is something that makes you a better person. And it'll, you hear the rich get richer. You know what? I do believe that in a way, but not in the way they're saying. Money isn't everything, but if you're doing things the right way and you're really sharing, the money will come. You just have to build that base first and then be abundant. And, we can live a lifestyle that's just crazy.
Well, I'm going to say something really quick, just because you told a story, and I'm going to tell a quick story. And, I don't even know who this gentleman is. It just happened to pop up in my feed, and I listened to what he was saying. And I'm telling you this because there's people out there that literally listen and they go, man, but I can't do those things. I can't change. I'm just, this is who I am, and I'm stuck here. And, this gentleman, and I know that's not to be true, but sometimes it's better to tell it in the perspective of somebody else. This gentleman was sitting on stage, and he apparently, he'd fixed the problem at this point in time. And that's why people are listening to him. And he said, when I was 43 years old, he said, I heard about a buddy of mine from high school who was always a big underachiever, who, at this point in life was making millions and millions of dollars. And I looked at this because when I went back to when I was in high school with this gentleman, he was looked at as the underachiever, and everybody looked at me as the person that was going places. He said, I heard it from my professors. I heard it from my teachers. They always said, you're going to go somewhere. You're just such a sharp guy. You're going to get somewhere. And he said, I'm sitting here at 43 and I'm looking back on all my failures, and I'd never accomplished anything. And what he was talking about was that he found that while he was brilliant and understand things in a way that others just could not, he couldn't ever get past starting the project, but actually finishing the project. And he said it was when he was on this particular day and he saw this friend who had become a multimillionaire, he drew a line in the sand and he said, I'm going to figure out what it is that's stopping me from moving forward and completing these projects, because I deserve more. I can do more. I can be more. And that's what he did. He drew a line in the sand, and he stopped stopping the project and continued moving forward, right? And basically completed the first project, which wasn't even his best project. And eventually, with changing his mindset and believing that he could complete things, he built himself into a self-made millionaire, and he didn't do it until he was 43. I think if you look back at a lot of the people that we look upon to and go, man, that person made it, right? And sometimes these are people that are worth hundreds of millions. Sometimes it's people that are worth billions. A lot of them never got started until they were in their 40s, right? And so you have to realize it doesn't matter if you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s. You can always make that change, and you can always modify the way that you think and the way that you live, so that you can scale up and get to that next level, right? Whatever that is for you. Some of us have bigger aspirations than others, but you can always make those changes in your life. So don't hold yourself back, right? Unleash the beast inside of you. Get out there and do what it takes to scale yourself up to that next level. And I'm going to tell you, you look back a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, you're going to be amazed at where you've gone.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I just think of that young woman, and I didn't mention her name on purpose. I didn't want to embarrass her or anything, but Kayla I'm so happy for her. Not only is she being abundant by adopting her niece and raising a child when she was still, 22, 23, 24 years old herself, to, watching this young girl that she's raising, grow up and seeing what a real leader looks like, and what a real positive influence looks like. And to see that over the last 2 years, and it took her 2 or 3 years as an assistant for somebody else,
Yeah.
before she decided to take that jump. And to hear the numbers she did was just amazing. And so I know she's nobody, just like all of us are. We're all nobody.
Yeah.
All you got to do is do it, and
Just become somebody.
My successes, if you base success based on income, then my successes heavily came in my 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
And I'm still enjoying making money, but in my 60s, I'm cruising a little bit, but I still work hard, still work almost every day.
Well,
including Saturday and Sunday sometimes.
Well, at the end of the day, guys, just do what you're passionate about. And if you aren't passionate where you are in your life, or you're not where you want to be, know that you can always fix that. There's never a shelf life, right? Until the day that we stop breathing, we can make a change that's going to take us to that next level, right? So, get out there and do what it takes to educate yourself. I promise you, for whatever your interest it is, right? Whether it's mortgage related or not, there is knowledge out there that's available right now, and it's very easy to find. You just have to pop on a podcast like this one, right? Pick up a book and read it, right? Go to a local event and learn more about that thing that you want to do, and you can start to do it, and you will change your life and change the lives of those around you. And just make sure that when you do it, lead with that abundance mindset, share it with others, and help them scale up too. It feels really good to see the people around you go on that ride with you. So, guys, we appreciate you tuning in. As always, Coach and I will be back next week. But if you want more, you want to see us sooner, pop all over to the MLO Live Show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central. You can get there at MLOLiveshow.com. That's going to be me, Coach Rick, Scott Hudspeth, John Hinks Jr., and man, we're always here to help you elevate, scale up, and just find the best version of yourself, because you're in there. You're already in there. You just got to get out there and look a little bit harder. So,
man, you always get the hair standing up on my arms when you talk like that, man. Now I want to go do something cool.
Let's go. Let's run through a wall. Well, I'm Devin Dubuque.
Coach Rick Koenig.
We will see you on the next one. You've been watching Loan Officer Success Live, where real strategies meet real success. Don't forget to subscribe now and share it with your teammates, and keep leveling up, because your next breakthrough starts here. If this fired you up, don't just watch success, go out there and build it.